We are the Guinea Pig Collective. All will be assimilated. Resistance is futile.
Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome back to another Going Old School Retro Discussions. And it's another wonderful day, and it's a wonderful day to talk about those retro things from the past that we love so much. What's going on? I see Solar Warden was in the house earlier. I don't know if you were still here, but what's going on, my friend? And Keely Chow is in the house. What is up, Keely? It's another one of those days that everybody's going to be talking about a particular subject that I just do not care to engage in that discussion, because you know what? That's exactly what those people want you to do. They want you to talk about their silly program that nobody cares about, and I am not going to be that person. So instead, I'm going to talk about things that I love, things that bring back fond memories, things that were from my childhood and that we love so dearly and were so much fun. And one of those things is an older program. This older program is one that a lot of people are not familiar with, or maybe a lot of us have forgotten about. So we're going to get in touch with the feels and talk about an older toy line and an older show and comic book series.
Visionaries, Knights of the Magical Light. This toy line was released in 1987, and it had promotional tie-ins, which included a comic book series published by Star Comics and a half-hour animated television series produced by Sunbow Productions. The comic book was released in September of 1987, and the cartoon was released in November. The comic itself only lasted 6 issues and was canceled halfway through a 4-part storyline. Now, the animated series lasted 1 season of 13 episodes, but it was not picked up and renewed. Some sites may actually try to have you believe that the toy line was based on the comic and the cartoon. This is incorrect. Obviously, if you listen to the dates that the comic and the cartoon had both come out, they were in the later half of 1987. And they were based on the toy line, which unfortunately was unsuccessful, mostly due to the extreme cost associated with the holograms that were on the chest of the figures. And while many other types of action figures helped to fill niches in the action figure market, this one just did not meet up to expectations for whatever reason. But who are the Visionaries? The Visionaries, Knights of the Magical Light, is set on the planet Prismos, an advanced society where all electronics and complex machinery no longer function, and the people are forced to rely on old magics. The Visionaries consist of 2 groups of knights, the Spectral Knights and the Darkling Lords. Everyone who wishes to gain magic is invited to a competition by the wizard Merklin. After surviving traps, dangerous creatures, and each other, both sides are rewarded. The front plate of their armor is embedded with a unique animal totem, which they can turn into. The animals were selected by Merklin based on their personalities or abilities they exhibited during the competition.
Hey, what's going on, yeah?
Yeah, I just like forgot about them, but after seeing them, I was like, oh yeah, I remember them. But as you said, they like didn't do all that well.
No, like it was a lot of those different franchises that came out at the time. I mean, Silverhawks was another one. While the toys were amazing looking, the
Oh, yeah.
comics and the cartoons just did not live up to expectations and help push those lines. And what's going on? Chris Fisk is in the house. Get Fisky. MJ Media, what is up, Jeffrey? Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah,
But yeah,
and as you said-
I remember seeing these toys, and I remember on the back of these toys, there was a lot of other brands that came up with the same designs with the holograms that were on the front of the toys. Another one was called the Supernaturals. They did almost the exact same thing, except the entire front half of these figures, like these ghost type figures, they were nothing but a big giant hologram, and then had like a little cloak that went around them with movable arms.
Yeah, I remember them. Like fire and water one things but it was only a little because, as you said, like they had a big, massive, hologram sticker, and in them days, like, yeah, they're not real expensive, but yeah,
Well, at the
part of the
time,
price line on it, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the prices on the toys weren't really exceptionally high, but actually the cost at the time, because the holograms are still, they were still pretty much a new thing as far as the stickers.
Yeah.
They were actually a little bit pricey to make, and they really didn't take that into account when they were selling this line, because I guess they were hoping that it was going to do gangbusters and it was going to make up for the initial cost of printing these things, but it never happened. MJ Media, no offense, but it looked like a wannabe Skeletor collection. Which one are you talking about? The Supernaturals or Visionaries? Because I don't really see the Skeletor in Visionaries, but maybe I'm missing something. And Chris says, I only had this one light green ghost-like figure from the Visionaries line. That was actually wasn't that the Supernatural one? Which one? The Supernaturals, Jeffrey? Because the Supernaturals, they were kind of cheesy.
I don't think really so much of them. But remember the Visionaries, because we didn't get the cartoon, because it was one of them where in the 80s, Britain only had like 4 sort of TV channels, and only 2 of them would play kids' cartoons. And so fucking, I don't think they got the cartoon rights to show. So in the UK, like, we saw the toys, but we never saw the maybe kids who had Sky, maybe, or might have, or anyone else, no. Just didn't see the, so we wouldn't have known of the characters. So I think the did do a few adverts, so TV adverts with the toys.
Well, I think that's the bigger problem. And that's why a lot of these toys in the 80s failed. Like you're talking to, like I said, once again, if you're talking about like Silverhawks and a few of the other ones, the reason that they were such short-lived lines, because all those toys at the time, they needed marketing behind them, and not just regular advertisements that you've seen on TV or you've seen in a paper or something like that. They needed comics behind it, and they needed cartoons to help push the sales. As a matter of fact, when the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were pitched to Playmates said that they would be on board, but one of the things that they needed before they would actually even move ahead with making the figures is they needed to see a cartoon to help push this line. And that was all thanks really to Hasbro, because you look at what Hasbro did with the relaunch of G.I. Joe in 1982. It was because of that push with the comic book sales and with the damn cartoon that they put out with Sunbow. And then they repeated the same process again with Transformers. Both of them were huge successes. So a lot of these other companies were paying attention. They tried to do the same thing. Unfortunately, they didn't put a lot of design and thought behind the characters and the stories when they were actually making these comics and these cartoons, and that's why they kind of flopped. Like, even though they had some good ideas, they didn't have fleshed out stories, and that's where a lot of these things just like fell off a cliff.
Yeah. Bit like with He-Man when they was like, obviously it's the reverse sort of thing, but with He-Man where there's like, right, we've got these toys, but we know that the kids aren't going to play with these toys unless there's a storyline to them, and so they know who the good guys and the bad guys are. And they quickly found out that if they want to sell He-Man toys, they better get a He-Man cartoon or comic or something that the kids can thingy. And yeah, so if the kids don't know about the characters, that's why there was like advertising, giving books away and that, because it was like, if the kids don't know about the characters and who they are and what they do, they're not gonna play with them.
No, absolutely not. And that was one of the things that you would get these cartoons, and a lot of those kids would probably sit right there in front of the television during, whether it was the weekday cartoons or whether it was the Saturday morning cartoons, and they would sit there with their toys and they would play along to the damn cartoons. I see Wookie is in the house. What's up, Wookie? I've seen that movie. Didn't think you guys would be talking about it, though. Big Naturals isn't an AMC kind of movie. Oh, Wookie, that's not the Naturals we were discussing in the chat. Super Big Naturals is a great sequel as well.
Yeah.
City Privilege. Wookie.
Yeah, super big fake ones never fucking took off.
What?
But we're very natural. Well, I do. I think most men prefer the natural big ones to the natural fake, to the unnatural fake ones.
The only problem with the big ones is when they start falling down around their ankles. That's a terrible thing to see.
Well, yeah.
What do they say? Gravity is the great equalizer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this was another one. I know I've talked a little bit about this one in the past about the Visionaries, and it was another line. I thought it was very interesting. I know my brother had a bunch of the toys. I thought it was a really cool toy line. It was just the same shame to see it just fall flat on its face and just disintegrated before it really even got its footing.
Yeah. And in them days and all, it was, if it didn't fucking do well in its like first year or two, they're like gone.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of them like that. They lasted maybe a wave of figures, and they possibly even had a second wave pre-planned for production, but it just never went through. Chris Fisk says, I made up my own dice rules to play with action figures. Otherwise, I had no idea how one was supposed to play with them. You know what? There was a few of those toys, though, Chris, that, especially the ones that came with the little, the rub signs that they wound up doing later on, like the Battle Beast, where it was pretty obvious how you're supposed to play with them because it was like rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, that's right. Because you have to stick your finger on the thingy to warm it up so you could see what the. But you'd know without even sticking your finger on the hologram thing, because there was a certain look to each sort of.
Well, you always stick your finger on there, especially when.
Jesus, it's only the biggest goddamn hole in the world.
Always. Wookie, yeah, whatever, Chris, go play with your dolls. They're not dolls, Wookie. They're action figures. What's going on, Godzillionaire? I love Battle Beast, and I actually did find a few of them. Most of them still have the rub sign, surprisingly. But damn, those things were teeny tiny, and unfortunately, once those things got left in the heat, those damn rub stickers would just come right off. Now, I don't know if that company Toy Hacks makes reproduction stickers for them, because they do make the reproduction heat-sensitive stickers for the Transformers, so it's possible that they maybe do reproductions of them, and that would be kind of interesting. Battle Beasts were fun as hell. Yeah, they had a lot of stuff that went with the Battle Beast, too. Another one that was actually done by Hasbro in conjunction with Takara. A lot of people forget about that. At one point, they were actually talking about tying Battle Beast in with the Transformers. but I
Right.
guess they felt that the lines were too different that it wouldn't make sense to tie them together.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, another line that was pretty interesting. I mean, eventually, I'm probably going to come back around to talking about one of the other ones that was suggested was Terrorhawks. Unfortunately, I vaguely remember Terrorhawks, so in order for me to really watch, to be able to talk about it, I need to rewatch it. And I did find it streaming on Tubi for free. So I'm going to have to wind up and watching that series and just get a little bit better of a grasp on it before I start talking about it, because I'm not going to be one of those people to just talk about it because they've read Wikipedia or whatever, because that just does not make any sense to me, because you just sound like an asshat at that point. I'm not Creative 22. What's going on? What's up, everyone? And God's Billionaire.
No, when you're watching it, to expect the unexpected. That was a dude's catchline on it, because I remember Terrorhawks, and every episode the main dude would be like, expect the unexpected. Good.
Godzillionaire says that there was a company that made some repro rub signs for Battle Beast, but I think they discontinued making them. I wonder if that was Toy Hacks. They used to be called repro labels, and then they rebranded, and they're now called Toy Hacks.
Yeah, I was going to say, no, if they were just specialized in them, they was going to go out of business, because I don't think there was much of a market. But just
well, that was the thing with this company, though, Jens, that they their main bread and butter for a long time was just Transformers, as far as the repro labels, and they wound up expanding to a bunch of different other toy franchises. They were doing stuff for G.I. Joe. They were doing all kinds of different figures from all different kinds of lines, and I think that was a really awesome thing that they were doing. One of the figures that I'm looking at is the one that I showed off last week, which was that Mighty Max, the Maximum Man. I really want to get some new stickers for him, and I'm not 100% sure if Toy Hacks makes them or not, but I'm going to talk to them. And I know they do something. If they don't have the stickers, you could send the figure to them. But, I mean, obviously, you got to box it really well so the postal service doesn't screw it up on you. But they will actually take it. They will scan the stickers. They will possibly even remove them so they can actually put them through their machines and they can make exact copies of them. And, I mean, if they don't have them, I would be willing to send this thing to them. I would take it completely apart and package it up really well, maybe even like serious foam going around this thing so it don't get broke. Send it to them so I can get some actual brand new labels made. And I'm pretty sure if I do something like that, I might even get the labels for free. I'm not 100% sure, but it would be nice. Because I want to totally bring that thing back to life to the way it was when I first got it when I was a kid in '76. Adam Shawhan, what's going on? Terrorhawks, baby. Chris Smith says, I love Terrorhawks. I'm living in the 21st century. Think Afro Puppet. Thank you. I'm not creative. I appreciate that. And guys, remember to go ahead and share out that link. Let people know we are here, because as always, YouTube likes to suppress guinea pigs. They hate us. I don't know why. They hate small furry animals. Wookiee Supremacy, you know what was better back in the day that sucks today in comparison? Guns. We had BB gun wars all the time when I was a kid. Now neon-colored Nerf guns are even frowned upon. Yeah, they are, and it's ridiculous. I remember when I was living in Jersey. When I was living in Jersey, one of the things that they were trying to basically ban, and I think they might have, is paintball guns.
Ooh.
I mean, just the idea of that is ridiculous. Oh, yeah, the Ghost of Kiev. Oh, jeez, that's stupid shit. I can't even with that stuff from the freaking media anymore. I still have those spheroid robots from Terrorhawks somewhere in storage. Nice.
Yeah. Is that the round ones? Because the round ones was on the Terrorhawk side, and the square box ones were on the what was it? Terrorhawks' his fucking enemies called? I forget. But
I wish I could remember offhand, but I don't, and that's why I said I need to go back and rewatch the show.
Well, I'm gonna think it because I can't remember. name, no. Like crazy fucking old witch creature. Like,
Yeah, Wookie. I remember my friends and I picking BBs out of each other before going home, so mom wouldn't freak out. Yeah, I had a friend of mine. He was playing that game. Was a safety on or off with his BB gun because he had one that looked like a 44 Magnum that was a CO2 cartridge powered, and he did not have the safety on, and he shot it at his girlfriend because he had it pointing near her head. The pellet that he had in it got lodged in her head, and he had to get a pair of pliers out to pull the thing from her skull. It's not really funny, but it was at the time, and I don't care. I'm still laughing about it now. It's funny. No gun fun allowed. Yeah. And you see that with McFarlane Toys with the DC lines. And McFarlane and his big workaround where he's going to put finger guns in the packaging. So stupid. Jeffrey, there was nothing wrong with playing with toy guns for me, just as long as I didn't bring them to school. Go ahead, Jens.
Zelda was her name. Oh, was the crazy fucking witch bird. You remember? She was like the main villain.
Yeah, Godzillionaire. And if you had caught Vinny Tartamella, my buddy, he did a talk about it on Friday on his channel and then again on Sunday. And he went to town about this shit. And really, Todd McFarlane went right along with everything that DC was pushing. He didn't question it. He just, oh, yeah, we're just going to follow in line. And I got a workaround. And like I said, his workaround was putting multiple hands in with the toys, and they were finger guns. It's the stupidest shit I think I've ever seen. I mean, at that point, you might as well just say, okay, we're not going to put the figures with guns in the packaging, but on the side, we'll just sell guns as a side package. You know, you might as well just do something like that. That is a workaround. Not, oh, we're going to put finger guns in with the packaging because we want to look like we're being woke here a little. Chris Fisk, the baddies and Terrorhawks were these gross androids from Mars. The old ladies and the guy that looked like Freddy Krueger, that sounded like he was always gargling.
No, yeah. I think it was a bad though. Well, Zelda. I'll share the image of
Okay, yeah. You see, and when I was thinking about the show, I couldn't remember if it was like the claymation or if it was like puppets, and I wasn't 100% sure. So okay. Yeah, now I'm looking at this. I definitely remember it, but like I said, I don't remember it well enough to actually do a stream and talk about it. So, like I said, I'm going to need to rewatch the whole damn thing. Luckily, Tubi has got me covered for free. So,
yeah. There's the dude that was gargling. Yeah, I forgot about him. The monster creatures. I forgot about her, but I think she was like a fucking divvy, so like a stupid, like an awesome or their sister. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a kick. I'm kidding it. Yeah, I'm gonna watch Terrorhawks again.
God, those things remind me a lot of the black hole.
Yeah,
those spherical.
Yeah, it was done after it. Yeah, it was done in 89, 83. So yeah, it was done after it. So probably might have like been inspired a bit.
Soul Assassin, what's going on? Finger gun bangs. It's a whole different stream, Tommy. Yeah, it absolutely is. So ridiculous. Wookie says, when I got my first BB gun, I killed everything that moved in my backyard. That didn't freak out my mom. The yard was a kill zone. finger guns, they would flip out if they saw what was in my home. I got 2 paintball guns and a lot more awesome stuff. Yeah, man. It's always great to keep some of that stuff. I still have a few of my old BB guns too. I have one that looks like an Uzi, the CO2 powered, but unfortunately, the way the new CO2 cartridges are made, they don't fit in those old guns and seal properly. So,
shit. Can't you get like a refillable one that you like?
Well, that's the thing. A lot of those little mini CO2 cartridges are not refillable. I did, however, find a whole box of old CO2 cartridges over my father's house that are the same design as the one as my Uzi. So whether or not they still hold a full charge or not, one of these days I'm gonna pull that damn gun out. I'm gonna pop one of those CO2 cartridges in, and I'm gonna try it out to see if that thing still fires, man.
Yeah, it should do. Should do if it's sealed. And the gun's working.
Yeah, I think that would be an interesting clip for going old school retro discussion. Shooting a BB gun in the backyard. I just got to hope to not shoot somebody else's eye out.
Yeah. Get some targets.
Jeffrey, I never played with BBs unless they were empty. I never wanted to hurt or be hurt by someone. Squirt guns and cap guns were all I needed. There were some places that were most places started banning cap guns too. I mean, I don't know how many of you remember, but like in the early 80s, like even some of the like the RoboCop toys that they came out with actually had a cap gun action in the back, and there was a few other toy lines that did the same damn thing. Matter of fact, there was a He-Man figure that had a cap gun action on it. I forget which one it was, but there was a cap gun. There was like I forget if it was the roll of caps or if it was the little plastic caps, but it had a cap gun action in the back of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was a roll of caps in the back. Maybe.
Yeah, I forget. I forget exactly which one it was. I do recall it though.
Yeah, I'll find it.
Soul Assassin, I remember playing BB gun fights as a kid in my grandmother's front yard. Nobody cared, even when the police drove by. Finger guns are oppressive and a white nationalist dog whistle. Do spirit fingers so you don't trigger anyone and show you're woke as fuck. Actually, you can't even do that anymore, Wookie. I just read an article where they were talking about spirit animals are oppressive to people now as well. So probably spirit fingers are going to be the next to go. My dad had a BB gun that I would play with it, empty it like it was a toy. I would play with it empty like it was a toy. Okay. All right, Godzillionaire. We didn't have BB gun fights, but we would use sycamore tree balls in those old school slingshots with surgical tubing. Nice. Oh, okay. Thunder Punch He-Man. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, there we go. Got him up here. I thought it was a roll in the back. Yeah, but I can't remember which one it was. But yeah, it's Thunder Punch He-Man. One.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's the like caps.
Yeah, it had the round plastic caps.
Yeah. Yeah, he banged them in the back there. And I think it was when he did his punch arm swing and set up one of the caps.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the way it worked. Like when you pulled him back and you let him go, once he reached the end of the punch, there was something that actually triggered the pin that actually popped the cap.
Yeah. Yeah, like
there's so many damn interesting toys that came out in the 80s. I mean, stuff that you were never, ever, ever going to see again. Because they're worried about kids' safety. I mean, I remember all those freaking toys when I was younger that came with the freaking plastic missiles that fired out until some doofus was playing with it with his mouth open and freaking swallowed a damn missile and it got lodged in his throat and he choked to death.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing where fucking it's gonna sort of soy. It's like in the old days, it was like, fucking, if you were so stupid that you'd let your kids play with toys that could choke them, tough tit. Nowadays, it's all, oh, no, we can't put them in. Fuck it if one kid gets blood.
What's up, TLM29? Good to see you, buddy. Probably find them at a flea market. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I know. I don't know what they're doing. I'm not creative, but they are hating on the guinea pigs in some of those videos. I see other ones that do, pretty well, and then other ones like there's like no views at all. I don't know what the game is that they're playing, but they hate guinea pigs. I should call the ASPCA on them. They're being cruel and unusual to guinea pigs. I have the power, He-Man. Yeah, I remember the old cars that would spark when you rev them up.
Oh yeah.
Yes, the Spark Box and the Spark-Cons.
I had an Evel Knievel bike that it was like a rocket bike that like he never rode this, I don't think. But it was like an Evel Knievel where they like made it, and yeah, it'd have like sparks flying out of the back burner booster rocket things. Oh
yeah, there was a few other lines they did it in as well. Once again, that was like once somebody came out with this kind of idea, every other toy company was running with their own version of it. And as far as Transformers, besides the Spark Box and the Spark Cons, there was also the Monster Bots Godzillionaire. I don't know if you remember them. There was 3 Monster Bots, and each of them had that sparking action in the back of their head. Like, I still have one of them. It's Repugnus. He looks like some kind of big, like, I don't know, like, I'm not even sure what kind of bug it's supposed to be because it looks like an amalgamation of a bunch of different insects. So he, on the back of his head, he's got a little push button so the sparks fly out of his mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember them sort of things. Well, yeah, there's Evel Knievel bike. Yeah. Yeah. You can't see. Yeah, you can't see the sparks on this one because the thing is the wheel.
Well, if I remember correctly, wasn't the plastic on the back of that like a translucent plastic so you can kind of see the sparks going through it?
Yeah. Because he had like one on that side and one on the other side, and when the wheel got spinning and that, he'd set off some little crank wheel in there with a flint or whatever. It'd be like loads of sparks.
Well, it was basically the same thing that they had in the lighters. There was just a little flint and everything like that that was sitting there that would spark up. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Soul Assassin, I could still remember the pop cap smell. My cousin used to have the 6-shooters. Yeah, we had a bunch of them. You know what? And some of those old cap guns, man, holy shit, they were hardcore. Like, you could take one of them and crack somebody over the head with it. Jeffrey, I completely agree. The problem isn't the toys. It's the ignorant parents letting their kids play with toys that could choke or harm them. And you know what? It's not even so much that. I think it's just the fact that these parents will let these kids that are too stupid to know how to be safe with the toys play with them. I think that's the biggest problem. Because you know what? Most kids can play with these toys and not have a problem. I never did. Never came even close once to choking myself or hurting myself with a toy. But some of the other little special ed kids, oh, I'm sorry. These people, oh boy, these kids were just beyond fucking stupid. I'm sorry. If you're, like I said, once again, if you're sitting there with an open mouth shooting a damn missile and lodging in your throat, you probably should be in a special ed class or something. You need to have a football helmet on, maybe put a straight jacket on. Oh yeah, I have all 3 monster bots. Awesome. Yeah, I only got the one. I never was able to get the other 2. I like the guy with the wings. He almost looked like he was a dragon. Blanking on his name right now. Like Double Cross, I think. I think his name was Double Cross. I never knew anyone who died from an old toy. The Ouija board doesn't count. Hey, Solar Water, and welcome back. Good to see you. We need more toys that brutally murder dumb kids with terrible parents. I'm all for bringing back that toy chemistry set that literally came with radioactive yellow cake from the 1950s. That's the way to do it, Chris. I think you could be onto something right there. I mean, who hasn't opened a portal to hell on Halloween in the 70s? I never had it with my cap guns. Never had a problem. Those darts were pure Darwinism at work. Never had a problem with my cap guns. The retard kid choking on a Battlestar missile is what killed the Boba Fett figure. Yeah, well, yeah. And it actually killed it before it even completely went into production, because even though they put it on the original packaging, other than a few prototypes being made, it never went into production like that. And I know there was a myth going on that some people claim that they got them, and it never happened. It never happened, and they killed it. And when you started getting the Battlestar Galactica toys after that, they had these missiles that would move out like a quarter of an inch or so at the most. It was just so stupid.
Yeah, it probably was Double Cross, because there's Double Cross, reproduction, and
Repugnus.
Yeah, Groticus. No, Grotus.
Grotesque.
Right, yeah. That's the names, yeah.
Yeah, I was never able to find it. And the funny thing is, the Repugnus one that I had, I don't know how this happened. It might have happened from the factory, but his legs were on the wrong sides. Like somebody at the factory had switched the legs the wrong way, because I went to transform. I was like, this doesn't look right. And I was like, I'm looking at it. I was like, these legs are on the wrong sides. I had to take them apart, put his legs the right way. I don't know if maybe somebody else was doing what I was doing and they were putting figures together, but if they did, they put them together wrong, and I had to fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you see the one in the middle with the bug head?
Yeah.
One down. Yeah, that one with that bug head. That's the one I have.
Right. Yeah. You say his legs on the wrong way or something? Or was it the other one?
It's just a weird ass toy. I could never figure out what kind of bug it was supposed to be. It just, like I said, it didn't make any sense. It looks like it was a mismatch of a whole bunch of different type of bugs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely got an ant's head, hasn't it? And like a praying mantis arms. And I don't know what sort of bug legs that they are.
Yeah, those don't even really seem to match anything.
Yeah.
Still, it was an interesting toy, and the concept with the sparks flying out of his mouth was pretty cool. If I remember correctly, when you hit the spark thing on the top of his head there, that's what that big lump sitting on top of his head is, that squarish lump. That's actually the spark activator. And if I remember correctly, his little pincers on the side move too when you hit that button. I got him buried away somewhere along with a couple of the spark bots. Wookiee Supremacy. Cap guns were cool until you learned that the cap rolls themselves were a lot more fun. Yeah, the Ouija board. I brought one of my Ouija boards back from the 1970s or 60s. I forget which era it was from. But yeah.
You want to get rid of it?
No. I want to use it. I want to use it on a live stream. We'll turn the lights down, turn all the pigs out. Get a bunch of piggy paws on the Ouija board, and we'll have some fun. What's going on, Lasso of Truth? Good to see you. I'm not creative. Never played with a Ouija board. I have played Magic many times. Oh, no. Really? I used to play Magic the Gathering. And then they started going woke, and I just gave up on it. Smacking rolls and caps with a hammer for the win. Until you smack your fingers. What's going on, Walton? How you doing?
Yeah, all right, dude.
Summoning demons is tight. We know what Wookiee was up to. Now we understand what the problem is, Wookiee. And that is why you make good videos. Because you're summoning demons. Contact Kurt Cobain. Tommy's going to be the first guinea to get 1 million subscribers while opening a hell portal on the stream. That would be awesome. That right there is a goal. Let's see if we can make it happen. We could drag all those no good, rotten bastards that are working at YouTube headquarters that are trying to keep me suppressed. I'm going to drag them all to hell too.
Yeah, well, I think they'd probably be inside the portal that you're opening.
Well, then I'll have to pull the Freddy Krueger and drag him down.
Well, count me out. I've seen enough devil worshipping fucking entertainment to last me a lifetime.
What's going on, Kick? Yeah, right. That's one way to get monetized. Yeah, same here. Nobody buys the new woke stuff. I have thousands of cards up in my room. I have not played that game in 5 or 6. Yeah. The first time I started playing with some guys that I was working with at this company that makes the automated mail sorting machines. They actually take like checks and everything. They open the letters up and they sort it by check, letter, and envelope into the trash bin. And that's what those guys did every time during lunch, because we'd get an hour for lunch. They would sit there and they would play Magic the Gathering, and they got me to play it too. And I started buying all these decks, and next thing you know, I've got thousands of freaking cards sitting all over the place. And I started selling all the extras out at the flea market when I was a vendor because I had to get rid of them. I had so many of them. It got ridiculous, and it got ridiculous really quick.
Yeah.
But we're going to take a very slight intermission here, folks, with our first toy break of the day. Hey everybody, what's going on? And we have another toy break for you again. This time from Hope Industries, we have the 1983, unfortunately not standing very well anymore, Alien Queen digital watch. They were making a lot of different things as digital watches back in the 80s. And the Alien franchise was no different. Whether or not this thing would actually still work, I am not 100% sure. There is teeny tiny little screws in the back that I probably could remove a back panel and change out those batteries if they ain't destroyed already. But the head moved on this thing, and that was about it. There was no articulation as far as this little figure was concerned. It was just a little interesting piece to have if you were an Aliens fan. Yeah, so what would you think of that little weird find?
Yeah. It probably will work if you take out the batteries and replace them. But they'll be them real small button batteries, won't they? So yeah, usually they don't.
Yeah, they're going to be those games. Usually they don't, but I have seen a few of them leak. It all depends on how they're stored and where they're stored at. Now, I've seen some of them stored in a hot room, but if they're stored far enough down under, like apparently my dad did, with piles of different stuff, they might not pop. And then I've seen other ones, if you just have them sitting up in the open where even just a little bit of sunlight can get in and around there and there's enough air, those things will explode all over the place. So it's a mixed bag with those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Klaatu Barada Niktu. No, I got you. I'm not creative. I got that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jens.
The leg was a bit fucked though, wasn't it? Was it like that originally, or was it being bent a bit?
Well, I think it's because it got a little too warm up in the attic where he had it, because that attic room that he had everything stored in, there was actually no insulation whatsoever in there. So, well, hot as hell during the summer, cold as hell in the wintertime. And unfortunately, the rubber just moves just a little bit, just enough. Then when it gets cold, it kind of locks into place.
Yeah, expands and detracts sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, Rorschach was in there again. He was being a good egg this time. He wasn't trying to push things out of his way like he was still with the G.I. Joe figures that I was showing off over on Collectible Past when we have our little toy breaks over there as well. Yeah, he was being a total butt nugget about it. He was like pushing the boxes out of his way like, yeah, these are not supposed to be sharing a space with me. I have these type of retro commercials on my game streams. Kudos, dude. Also, good call using the Incredible Crash dummies. Yeah, you know what? I wanted to use a bunch of the older figures in the beginning. A lot of the ones that a lot of people don't really show off very often, and it just seemed like that was the way to go. Thank you, Jeffrey. I appreciate that. But we got one other topic that I'm going to hit. How much do you remember about the Superpowers Collection from DC?
It was at the old ones, because I remember the old sort of like 1960s. I forget what the call them, but
well, you had the original one that was just the oh god, what was it called? It was called Superheroes or something like that from Mego. But this is actually when Mattel wound up getting a hold of them, and they had the action. Like if you squeeze the legs, the arms would move, or if you squeeze the arms, the leg would move for like the Flash. It was those ones that wound up coming out in the 80s.
All right. Yeah. No, I'm not too. Yeah, I can't remember them. Maybe that if I've seen them, like it might jog a memory. But all
right. Well, we're gonna play that in just a second. I just want to catch up with the chat because they've got a few things to say. So, Jeffrey over at MJ1 Media, speaking of Evil Dead Army of Darkness, I won a free game from It's a Trap Productions, and I requested a pre-order of the new Evil Dead game. So I'll get the game and the pre-order skins free. Awesome. Congratulations, man. That game does look interesting. Unfortunately, it's like just with most of these games, I don't even have the time to play them anymore. I am too damn busy right now. So maybe one day I'll get it and I'll check it out, but Chris Fisk, Crash Dummies. Once there was this kid that got into an accident on his way to school. I had the Incredible Crash Dummies as a kid. Slick, Spin, Spare Tire, Junk Man, and his junk box, and a Crash Taxi. Yeah, my brother had a few of them, and I actually pulled them out of the monstrous mess that was my father's house, and they're still in one piece, surprisingly. Shadowhawk, Bax, what's going on? Hail Tommy, Wookie, Chris Fisk, Keck 44, Lasso of Truth, and Keely. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Sorry you're too busy. Yeah, it's just one of those things, Jeffrey. It's just a lot going on. So, I mean, it is what it is. And, when I find time, maybe I'll look into it. Until then, I got to keep chugging along with everything else that I'm already doing. And what's going on? Gap Stargate. What's up, peeps? Good to see you, my friend. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to see if we can't jog that memory just a little bit for you, Jens, with this one.
The Superpowers Collection line. This line was based on DC Comics, superheroes, and supervillains that they had published in their comic books. And this line was actually so successful that it actually produced a bunch of knockoffs of its toys, including Toy Biz's DC Comics Superheroes line. And because of the immense popularity of this line, Kenner actually relaunched it in the 1990s with a new line of action figures based upon the classic DC characters Total Justice. Now, how did Kenner wind up with this franchise when Mego was already creating figures? Well, DC Comics awarded the license of their characters to Kenner Toys, hot on the heels of Mattel's action feature-heavy He-Man toy line, because that power of the action figure had reached new heights. And while other action figure toys had paved the way, He-Man took off like a rocket, skyrocketing and promoting sales well beyond anything that Mattel had ever dreamed of. Of course, DC Comics wanted in on that, and they decided to go with Kenner. Why exactly did they? Well, Kenner won that license away from Mego Corporation with their emphasis not only on action, but art as well. Now, Kenner devised hidden mechanisms within the figures that would trigger an action when the figure's legs or arms were squeezed. This emphasis on each figure's superpower led to the naming of the line, the Superpowers Collection. Now, each figure in the first two series were also packaged with a mini comic featuring that character's adventures. And once the line was in full force, a merchandising frenzy took place, with DC Comics and Kenner slapping a Superpowers logo on whatever they possibly could. Now, 3 series of figures and accessories were released in 1984, 1985, and 1986. And to help promote the line, DC Comics produced 3 comic book miniseries featuring characters from the toy line, one during each year of the toy line's existence. These comics were separate from the continuity of the regular comics featuring those characters. And Hanna-Barbera also helped by producing an updated version of the Super Friends called Super Friends, The Legendary Superpowers Show, and the Superpowers Team Galactic Guardians. Burger King also produced a line of cup holders available at their restaurants in 1986. Other tie-in products were produced, including lunchboxes, posters, interactive books. Only the toy line carried the collection tag. During this time, McDonald's also got in on it by releasing a set of 4 Happy Meal toys, which had the Looney Tunes characters as DC Comics superheroes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So, did that jog any memories?
Yeah, especially the Superman puncturing Lex Luthor in his mech suit thing.
Now, I suppose, Lasso, that you approved of the Wonder Woman shots in there? And Gab Stargate, booty frenzy ensued. Yeah, that's how you get attention for a toy line, man. I don't know what these guys are doing. They're missing out on this stuff. I missed the DC toys from Hasbro and Kenner. Well, you know what? It was really the Kenner that really did a lot with that. So, but some of the other ones like Toy Biz was okay, but I would say they were a little bit lacking as compared to the other ones. But Mattel, yeah, holy crap. Like, Mattel started it off with the He-Man figures and all the action. And as soon as they did that, other companies like Kenner started jumping on board. And every figure had some kind of action figure for a long time. Even when they did the Indiana Jones 3 3/4 inch figures, even they had, like, Jones had a quick draw action. And a couple of the other figures had, like, I forget what it was. Like, the one guy, the mechanic, the German mechanic guy that Indiana Jones gets in the fight with around the airplane. He's got some kind of like punching action or something like that. Like, all the figures wound up doing. They even had Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid figures that Kenner had put out, and they all had like the same thing, like the Indiana Jones. They had the quick draw action. Jason Lee Tucker statement. What's going on, man? Watch out for the retro Will Smith bitch slapping action. No, you know what? I'm just going to say this on this. I know that my good buddy Shellback is going to talk about it, and I am only going to have a brief statement when I stop in for a Shellback show later on, and I'm going to save it for then. So make sure to stop by for Shellback TGC later on, TJC later on tonight when he's going to delve into that one, and also the Don't Say Gay bill that everybody is screwing up because they don't know what the hell they're talking about and they never read to see what the bill was about. They're a bunch of damn idiots.
The Will Smith, though, the Will Smith action figure comes with the G.I. Jane 2 action figure.
Wouldn't it come with the water, add water for the fake tears? Now, wouldn't it come with a instant cuck crying action? Like, you know, you slept with my wife. Get out of here. That whole thing is just a bunch of bullshit. My favorite Happy Meal toys were the Astro Snicks. A close second is the Transformers Red French fries. Oh, McChangeables. Yeah, I've got every single one of them now. I completed my collection of those damn things. I got a fair amount of the 1980s DC Superpower figures from when I was a kid, including a Clark Kent. Wasn't the Clark Kent a mail away, Small Time Republic? And good to see you. Welcome.
Yeah, it must have been dedicated. Because I remember seeing them, but I think maybe one of my mates had Superman and or Batman or something. But yeah. That's why I couldn't really remember them because they weren't that big. I can't remember them being that big. There was one of them where there wasn't much publicity because it had all the publicity because of all the characters in that, and so sort of came and went, sort of thing, past me, if you know what I mean. I remember seeing them, but yeah, I never owned any of them.
Okay, I think it was a mail away. I was probably like 5 years old. Yeah, because I remember my brother got it. I seem to recall it being a mail away. But, I mean, it's been so long. Talem 29, Will Smith wouldn't want to smack a guinea pig. No, he absolutely wouldn't. Yeah, the Don't Say Guinea bill. That's the one that actually YouTube practices. Because if you say the other half of that and you say pig without the guinea in front of it, well, YouTube gets all kinds of up in their britches about it. And what's going on, Angela Straven? Good to see you, Vamp. I'm actually surprised you haven't stopped up one of these times. It should be called the Don't Try to Fuck My Child bill. Absolutely. Like I said, Shellback is going to be talking about that later on, guys. So if you want to hear about that for the warming up for yelling at parked cars, be sure to stop by his channel later and see Shellback, as we're going to have a little bit of discussion about that one. I'll probably let loose a little bit, but like I said, I am not going to get heavily into the Will Smith thing, and I'm going to explain why on Shellback's channel. Awesome. Check out those wrestling movies. Yeah, I've seen a few of those that you've been posting, Jason. They're pretty cool. I like that. I like to see some of the indie stuff. MJ1 Media. Remember when award shows were good? I remember Golem accepting an MTV award that was more entertaining than the Oscars. You know, I was never into watching a bunch of pompous bastards give themselves pats on the back, and that never changed from when I was younger. I always hated those damn award shows. Couldn't stand any of them.
Yeah, but I remember that.
H, what's going on? And happy birthday, my friend.
Yeah, I don't think I remember that award show because Andy Serkis sort of accepted it, but did the CGI, so it was Gollum accepting it, and so Andy Serkis was putting on his Gollum voice and that, and they're using the CGI. So Gollum to accepting the award. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, that's when they were worried about actual entertainment during those things instead of just making a spectacle, which, as far as I'm concerned, that's all they've been doing for years is making spectacles. Angela Straven, I just got home from Ohio. Yeah, that's right. Because what did you do? Being a good friend, you went and visited Supreme Heretic in his time of need when he could use a friend to be there. And man, I commend you for being able to stop up there and see him, man. That was awesome of you. Awesome, man. And happy birthday to CJH, man. Don't forget that. Yeah, that's right. Send him those birthday cakes. Emperor Palpatine was a Melway figure I could never get. I used to use the Boatman figure from Clash of the Titans in his place. I remember the Boatman figure. I never could get it. I had Perseus and I had Pegasus, but I never had a chance to get any other figures, including Calabac and everything. I always wanted them. Shellback is the opening act. Yeah, the warm-up for yelling at parked cars, man. Getting into some of those topics because he doesn't want anybody to pull a hammy before they stop in for the yelling at parked cars. Roll Tide. Yeah, preach. Yeah, well, I do it from time to time. I get on my little rants and I just go a little bit crazy. Well, my computer's been updated here. It definitely feels like a new computer. Awesome. It's always good when that happens. Yeah, you know what, CGH? I seen the thing earlier for I got an email saying that it was on Facebook, but I stop by Facebook so rarely, if ever, that I just didn't go on there yet to say anything. But I'm glad that you happened to stop by, and once again, happy birthday, my friend. That Peen story, the Peen story video was hilarious. Yeah, I know. I'm always doing my part to make sure that I keep Walton on his toes. Not that he isn't always on his toes anyway, trying to look over shopping carts when he goes out places, but still, I do what I can to help. First, there was a Will Smith movie, After Earth, and now the sequel next year, After Slap. Golem's rant, and that was hilarious. Fucking hilarious. I did. It was fun. We played some GM mode in the new WWE game. Awesome, Angelus. Awesome. Once again, I'm glad that you were able to go visit them. I wish I had the time, but I have too many things going on here that requires me staying here that I wouldn't be able to go up and see him right now. But that is so awesome that you were able to do that. And I'm sure he appreciated it greatly. So I have one other small thing that we could talk about. This one is a relatively short one, and I don't know how many people actually remember this. It's partially a toy, but then again, it isn't because it's more like arts and crafts. After Earth had potential, but it fell flat because it sucked. No, it fell flat because the Earth is flat. But this jealousy isn't Golem, right? So how many of you guys remember this one? Hey everybody, what's going on? The eldest guinea pig, Cringer, is here, and we are going to talk about, right Cringer? We are going to talk about Shrinky Dinks. Now, Shrinky Dinks are an art/craft toy invented in 1973 by Betty Morris of Brookfield, Wisconsin. These craft toys had become extremely popular in the 1980s. Shrinky Dinks consist of thin, flexible sheets of polystyrene, a common polymer. What you would do is you would color your creations or cut out pre-designed ones that came with each box. After coloring and cutting out your designs, they then would be heated in an oven, shrinking them and also thickening them, turning them into little plastic ornaments. I don't know how many people remember these ones. They actually still do create these things, which is kind of surprising because usually things like this kind of disappear. But there they are. How many of you remember this one? Cringer, I know this one was slightly before your time, but you're the oldest pig here, so unfortunately you have to be the one to be here for this video.
Yeah, that Shrinky Dinks one, that sort of thing. I think there would have been there, but arts and craft, it was like, yeah, I didn't really. I got a few arts and craft things, but yeah, Shrinky Dinks. I want one of them, but I think she probably did sell in the UK.
What's going on, Captain Trek?
Not too much. I remember Shrinky Dinks.
They remind me a lot of the arts and crafts stuff that came out at the time. You remember, like the old Paz that they would usually right around Easter time they would have out for coloring eggs and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, loved those. I love those. In fact, my sister and I would try dipping them in different colors to make our own blend.
Solar War and Shrinky Dink. I was in the pool. Don't make excuses now. Lasso of Truth says, I remember those. I didn't know they still made them. Yeah, I was actually surprised that they still made them.
In fact, I looked just recently because somebody was asking me about them, and it's like, yeah. So I found them. It's like, holy crap, they still make these things.
Yeah, it's surprising. I think there was a bit of a time gap where they actually disappeared completely off the shelves. And there's been a lot of these, whether it's arts and crafts or whether it was games or whether it was certain toys. Like I remember the, what's it called? The Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Mm-hmm. They started doing re-releases of those old toys, games, and arts and crafts in places like Target. And I started seeing those. I was like, wow. Like I picked up a Risk that I talked about like a week or so ago. It was supposed to be a reproduction of the 1959 version of Risk.
Uh-huh.
It's stuff like that I find extremely interesting when they actually do that. And what's going on, Frog G? Good to see you, my friend. Tickle the algorithm. Smash the like, dingle the bells, and subscribe. Appreciate that. Link to Wookiee's channel. Awesome. Yeah, man. I remember I used to get like the Shrinky Dinks just because there wasn't a whole lot going on when we were kids. A lot of the cartoons during the weekdays, you would get a very short time window for cartoons. It isn't like today where there's like cartoons on like most of the day, and you didn't have channels dedicated to cartoons all day long. And most of our channels would be on Saturday, the Saturday morning cartoons. That would be the big day for kids to watch cartoons. So you needed something else to fill in the rest of the time. And at the time, there really wasn't a whole lot of games out. Like they had the miniatures of like Pac-Man and Donkey Kong and stuff like that. But after playing so many boards of them, they get boring after a while, and you can only do that for so many hours. So,
yeah, I mean, you had board games, but after so long, it gets kind of boring. When you're a kid,
go ahead.
When you're a kid, a board game gets kind of boring after 3-4 hours.
Well, I mean, it's fine if you have somebody you're playing with and it's interesting, or if you have a group of people play. Yeah, but if you're just playing one-on-one, it wears out after a while. Not Keely Chow. Drew never had a Shrinky Dink problem after being in the pool. Beware the Drew. Saturday mornings were a sacred time. Absolutely. I used to love Saturday morning cartoons. All those good shows that were out at the time, Thundar the Barbarian, even that Godzilla one with Godzuki. I used to watch that. There was so many good cartoons out.
Speaking of which, now a friend of mine, Resolute Germ, has Saturday morning cartoons on every Saturday. 8 a.m. Pacific. And so he has like Thunder the Barbarian or Thunder the Destroyer, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, Thunder the Barbarian, yeah.
And then Clone Wars. I'm trying to remember. He has two other ones that he has on every week, and it's a fun time where you can just watch some of the old cartoons. And he's going to be adding in new cartoons as he goes along.
I'll be sure to drop that link for that in the chat if you can.
Okay.
Yeah, Thundar was dope. I did a discussion about Thundar, man. I love that show. I loved it. I thought it was great. It was It was really interesting, too, to see that they recently had put out figures for Thundar. They had Thundar, they had Ariel, and they had Ukla the Mach. So that was really cool. I would love to get those things, but they are so outrageously priced already. They're almost unattainable. Hey, Tina, how you doing? Good to see you.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Small Time Republic says I'd get up like 6 a.m. on Saturday mornings when the channels went from being off the air to cartoons.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, Frog G beat me to it.
That's awesome that somebody's doing that. I mean, I know there's a few other people that have gotten away with putting some full-length cartoons up on their channel. Our good buddy Steve Kenobi is one of them. He has a few episodes sitting up on his channel, and he's never gotten hit for him. Like, knock on wood. Thank God somebody's able to get away with it. If I try to put more than a 10-second clip up on my channel, they want to come after me and try to hit me. They're so ridiculous. So ridiculous. I mean, I'm really helping promote them when I'm putting that stuff on my channel, but I guess they just don't see it that way. They're just seeing, we want more money. Dollar signs. Drive me nuts.
Yeah.
But I got one more toy break, and then we got open discussions, and anything you guys want to talk about is on the table. So we're going to hit the last toy break for this stream.
And while Rorschach is still sitting here and he is willing to share a space with another toy item, how much longer that's going to last, I don't know. But from 1985 and Upright Toys, we have a Transformer Gobot knockoff. This one in the way of a Pontiac Firebird. This one is very stupidly simple. It is unfortunately missing a wheel on the side. Maybe packed away somewhere, but who knows. But so these things were quite simple to transform. So spin it around, pop the arms out, and that's your robot. Very simply made 90% of the time with these knockoff ones. Now, because sometimes these knockoff ones are a little bit scarce, the secondary market can see significantly high prices for some of these knockoffs. It's kind of hilarious that sometimes the knockoffs can actually outprice the Transformers or the Gobots. Anyway, guys, this was your toy break for the day.
Those freaking knockoff Transformers used to crack me up, and I actually got a small collection of some of the ones from all these different companies, and sometimes they're actually not really that bad.
No.
With their designs, and some of them, they're ridiculously stupid simple, like that one.
Yeah. Hey, look, it was like a Smoking the Bandit Transformer, though, wasn't it? Or
Yeah, kind of in a way, right? Yeah, with the Pontiac Firebird.
Yeah, but like the car looks quite decent-ish, but yeah, the robot bit shite.
Was there a red knockoff one, maybe a Corvette? Yes, there was. They actually had a few of them by that same company, Upright Toys. They did a few different cars like that where they were just moderately changed and painted differently. Yeah. There was a Corvette one. I forget some of the other cars that they had, but I know they were mostly all sports cars. Yeah, right. He did have that look on his face. Like, it was so funny watching him get mad at that G.I. Joe box that was sitting on the wheel. He lost it. Oh, Solar Warden, you had it? Nice. Yeah, I like I'm saying, I would love to have a lot more of those knockoffs because, like I said, sometimes they were just interesting to have. I have one from Taifeng, and it's a AM radio, and this thing transformed into a robot that had actually fairly good articulation in the arms and everything like that. Right. And it, like I said, it was a working AM radio to boot. It was a very interesting looking toy. Funny thing is that the car did something very early on with one of their first Transformers. Before he became Blaster, part of their microchange line, the original Blaster was colored blue, and he was an AM/FM radio.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it. But yeah, you talk a lot about fucking Transformers and that, I think.
Yeah, I could go on for days, couldn't I? One of the other things I wanted to talk about is when I was talking about that Alien Watch and some of the other things that they were doing digitally wise. Do you remember like some of the ones that they were doing, like even like TV shows, like they had the Dukes of Hazzard watch? That was a digital watch, and if you hit the button on it to change the time, it played the Dixie song.
Yeah.
And I'm failing to remember, but I know I'm pretty sure it was Burger King actually had a whole series of digital watches they were putting out with Happy Meals at one point too.
I wish I'd kept some of those things because the stuff that came out back then was actually nice compared to the stuff now.
Yeah, you know what? Like they brought up earlier, they were talking about the McChangeables. I believe that was Chris Fisk. And those toys really, even though they were stupidly simple, they were still fairly well designed.
Yeah.
Out of all the ones I've had, and I have dozens of them, because I've got so many. I don't even have doubles and triples. I have sometimes 4, 5, or even 6 of the same character from the McChangeable line. And out of all the ones I've had, and I still have, I've only found 1 or 2 that were actually broken. All the rest were exactly the same as they were from the day they were released, or maybe the joints are a little bit loose, but they're all intact.
Mm-hmm.
Although
they were that well put together.
Yeah,
they were. They absolutely were.
In their like burger form and that. Quite solid.
And you look at some of the toys that they're releasing in some of these places now, they're just junk. I remember at one time that they were releasing stuff that was like cardboard cutouts almost. Like it was so stupid. Like, oh my God, you're calling this a toy for a kid's meal?
Oh, what about the plastic gloves?
I
remember Ronald McDonald plastic glove as a toy. Why not just make it a plastic bag?
Do you remember the ones where they were actually paying attention and doing something decent too when they were actually putting out the figures, or should I say the characters of the figures of the characters that were in McDonald's?
Mm-hmm.
Like they had Grimace and Ronald and the Hamburglar and oh God, what was the pirate's name?
Oh, Hamburglar.
No, the pirate.
The pirate. Crap.
Because he almost looked like Captain Hook.
Oh, what was it?
I forget his name offhand. And the funny thing is I actually have one of the old McDonald glasses somewhere packed away, and it's got him on it, and it says his name. And I'm like, I'm damned if I can remember what his name was. Because they had him, they had the Fry guys, they had all that stuff. Same stuff you used to see if you went out into the old playgrounds that they used to have at some of the McDonald's with the big giant metal bouncy seat things that they had.
Oh, yeah.
Metal cages. And yeah, you remember the metal cages, like the top of it looked like a big giant hamburger?
Remember, used to have one of those play centers. Captain Crook.
Captain Crook, that's it. Yeah, see, yeah, I'm not the only one, Lasso Truth. That was so long ago, and it's been such a long time since they've actually used those characters, other than Ronald, that you start forgetting what they were called. And Soul Assassin, I remember when McDonald's gave away animated films with the meals. I have one in storage somewhere. Nice. I remember at one point they were getting cheap, and they were giving away little codes for video games, like for Xbox Live and stuff like that. I was like, oh, jeez. Yeah, Mayor McCheese, there's another one. And I think it was like, was it Sheriff Big Mac or... Because I remember the Big Mac was a sheriff or a cop of some sort.
Yeah.
But that, you know, once again, that was some interesting stuff. Yeah, there he is, Captain Crook.
It's been ages.
You remember those plates that they used to sell too? Because yeah, I'm sure there's the glass right there. The Captain Crook glass. That's the exact same one I have. But the one I have actually has his name on it, though.
That one does, but it's really, really small.
No,
So
the one I
small
have, the one I have, it's a full size glass.
Yeah, we said it does have his name at the bottom, but it's really small writing that you can't really notice it unless like you look real close. But it says Captain Crunch just there.
Either that, or maybe it got worn off. But the one I know, the one I have, I know it's got his name in pretty decent looking lettering and everything. It's in really good shape, which is actually shocking. Yeah, they did the little dolls too.
Yeah, nice. I remember getting a Ronald McDonald sort of like head and shoulder thing. That was a pencil sharpener. Like one of them meals one time.
Some pretty interesting stuff that they did back then. I mean, who would ever thought, like, when you seen these things as a kid, that one day they would be worth money? Nobody ever thought that. But then again, I'm sure nobody ever thought that things would be as cheap as they are now, too. So
true. I mean, if you told me, you know, that some of the stuff that I used to have would be worth money, I would have laughed at you.
Well, a lot of that stuff people just wound up throwing away.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one way you can see it a bit more clearly.
Yeah, and that's like the one I have. It's very clear. You can actually see the name. So I'm thinking that the other one was probably just it got worn off.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's what
nice.
I wash it regularly.
Had a Return of the Jedi cereal bowl. I still have the original Star Wars bowls, but it was like a bowl, a cup, and a tumbler set. Because I remember they used to come packed, you know, the three. I don't remember if a plate came with that set or not, but I do have all, the bowl, the cup, and the tumbler.
Wow.
Somewhere, I believe I still have my original Star Wars lunchbox too.
Oh man,
with the old thermos and everything.
Yeah, I remember those. Oh gosh, yeah.
Those things were hardcore. Like if you tossed one of those thermos at somebody, you could knock them out.
Oh.
But no, yeah, it was something that they did back then. They made things to last. And most of us really didn't appreciate what they were doing back then until we look at it now from that lens.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to do this show. I mean, when I first started, almost 2 years ago now, when I first started doing the show.
Wow.
I wanted to take that trip down memory lane. I wanted people to remember about all those stuff, the good times, the fun times, the stuff that was actually done with care. And once again, let's not forget about some of the companies that are doing it right to a degree, or they're just completely doing it right. And I still give kudos to Hasbro for a lot of things that they're doing right with their toy lines, especially G.I. Joe and the Transformers. They're doing incredible jobs with this line. Now, if it wasn't for the ties with Disney, I would give a lot more props to their Marvel lines as well, but I hate Disney so much. I unfortunately I cannot give them any credit for that whatsoever. God, I hate Disney.
Yeah, and Todd McFarlane, who creator of Spawn, and that he's got some Fairland toys off Ireland, like toys. He's done some alright toys. I've got to do a video on it. I should have done it before I fucking came on the stream. But yeah, he's complaining about toys being shite today.
Well, I mean, here's the thing about McFarlane. McFarlane is another one, and Vinny gets into it because Vinny used to work with him because Vinny was a lead designer for McFarlane Toys. And what's going on, George? It's good to see you. George is always popping in and taking a peek around, and usually it has something to do when somebody says "Death to the Disney Rat." Yeah, Lasso Truth missed the 80s. It was beautiful stuff. And Soul Assassin, I remember cleaning out my sister's house when she was moving, and I found her collection of Star Wars glasses. Awesome. I found a bunch of them as well. I don't have the full collection anymore because unfortunately in transit, one of them got freaking broke, and I was so pissed. It's one of those things though. But I mean, remembering the good times and remember the stuff that came out that was good is great, and then giving credit where credit is due. Now, unfortunately, when McFarlane, like Vinny was saying, there's things that McFarlane does right, and he's got some people that can do it right. But unfortunately, what he tends to do is he has his people work on it, and then they send everything out to China to be made. Mm-hmm. And of course, once you start doing that, you have the problem with lost in translation with people from a different culture or people that just don't give a shit. And I've seen some really terrible examples of action figures coming from McFarlane, and I've done videos about it. And I've seen the same shit from Playmates, and I've also seen it from NECA as well. Now, what's with all the Disney? I think you know what that is. Look, good to see you, buddy. I hope you are doing well. Yeah, Vinny rants about Todd McFarlane are great. It's awesome because he has inside knowledge. Because he worked for him. He worked around the guy, so he knows. He knows. Vinny knows his shit when it comes to McFarlane.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was doing a video on it where he's sort of complaining about it, but it's one of them where it's licensed, isn't it? And so if he wants to make them toys, he's got to make them what the fucking companies want him to make them like.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
And the only reason I'm saying both ends, yes, he to a certain degree, he has to placate the company that's giving him the license. But you got to remember, 9 times out of 10, these companies are paying for that license. So if they're paying for it, they need to produce a certain amount of toys and make them to be able to sell, or they're going to wind up losing in the end. And that's why there was a big fight between Hasbro and Disney over the Star Wars toys. And that's why they say, no, this shit right now with these new movies is not selling and we're losing money. We need to bring back figures from the original franchise and from the prequels.
Yeah. Well, like the video I'm doing in that is like where he's sort of basically saying, look, I can't make fucking shit fucking toys and expect them to sell. And so I think he's going down the route of refusing to do certain lines of toys because he knows they won't sell. But what he says and what he does is 2 different things. So, like,
exactly. I mean, like, and going back to that Todd thing one last time, like I said before, instead of caving to them and saying, okay, well, I'm going to take all guns out, especially for a character like the Red Hood. That's what the Red Hood is, almost like a version of the Punisher. He's a vigilante and he's using guns. So to not have a Red Hood with guns is ridiculous, and to put finger guns in with the figure is absurd. That is pandering to the utmost degree. It's ridiculous. And Soul Assassin, I see you said that Retro Blasting made a video calling out NECA. And damn, they're sketchy. And Vinny was telling me the same thing, that their customer service is horrible. When you call them, they pretty much just ignore you. I want to see how well they ignore the Guinea Pig Collective, because we will keep nibbling away at them day after day after day. Once I start calling them or once I start emailing them, it's never going to stop until I get my way. I went through the same shit with Take-Two Interactive, who makes the GTA games, the Red Redemption games, and they do the WWE line. When they first got the license for the WWE line and they made 2014, there were such huge problems because it was the first game that was completely done under their banner, because 13 was technically under their banner, but it was a holdover from THQ. So when they wound up getting the franchise from WWE and they made their first 2K WWE game, it was so horrendously bad with so many glitches and problems that I said I was not going to stop calling to either A, got my money back, B, got a brand new game, a whole brand new copy of it, or C, they sent me a voucher for a future game, and I was not going to stop. And they told me, you're not going to get that. The best we can do, this was after like a month of harassing them day after day. They said, we can give you a T-shirt. I said, you could take your T-shirt, you could wipe your ass with it, and then you could eat it. I said, I'm going to get, and I gave him the list again. And he says, sir, it's not going to happen. And I told him, I said, here's what you're failing to understand. I'm disabled, and I have nothing better to do. I am going to call, and I'm going to email, and I'm going to harass you people every single day until you give me what I want. And I drove them nuts, and they finally caved, and they sent me a brand new copy of the game. Walt was up for discussion, but Roy is untouchable. Chaos Hoy, what's up? Yeah, go to any secondhand store and you'll see stacks of Disney crap. Absolutely. Red Hood without guns is stupid. It's like Skyrock without a lightsaber makes no sense. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, they're doing like Punisher, aren't they, with swords? Like the new comics, like the Soy comics, are making Punisher have swords instead of fucking guns.
And that new design that they have on his freaking outfit is just retarded.
Yeah,
that is the way to do it.
But I did a video on the Soy fucking Punisher. But yeah, I'll be doing a video on these toys, how the new ones are, according to Todd, which I agree with him, they going a bit soy.
They're ridiculous.
Yeah.
And what's going on? Red Monarch, welcome. Good to see you, my friend. Soul Assassin, jokes on THQ. Every call and email was a different guinea pig from Tommy's army. They know Tommy's number by now. I'm sure that they shared it around to other companies. Look, if you get this bastard calling, just give him what he wants because he's not going to stop. We have stupid nut jobs running comics. Yeah, absolutely right. And I know, like, Vinny and I have talked about this quite a few times over on Vinny's channel, and Marvel's problem started with Joe Quesada. Joe Quesada brought all that woke element garbage into Marvel, and it just festered like an old wound. New Punisher logo makes more sense when you invert it. Oh, no. Is it kind of like Marlboro cigarettes? You know about that one, right?
What?
If you look at a pack of Marlboro cigarettes, there's one thing they say that if you look at it just right, it looks like a Klansman on the front of the Marlboro emblem.
I've never heard that before, but
that's why I buy comics from Comicsgate. Yeah, you know, absolutely. And I've got a few of their links in the description down below. Chris Fisk with Infinite Tale Chronicles, Red Gaze with Sunsworn, and of course my buddy Vinny Art with all the books he's doing, including Shadow of the Kraken, which is coming out soon, Through the Woods, and City of Venus. It's awesome, some of the things that these guys are doing, man. If you have a chance, if you have the money to back them, great. If you don't, at least share their projects out there, because a lot of these guys, they are putting a lot of time and money into these projects, more than most of you even realize. They are putting their hearts and souls into these projects along with their wallets. And some of them are putting themselves in debt to put these books out there. Why? Because they want a vision in a comic book that is more to what they remember when they were younger, and not the garbage that we are seeing today that's being pushed out there as part of the mainstream industry. Frog G, thank you. Appreciate that. I know that it's in the description too. Yeah, Cursed Child, make sure you sign up for that. She's got the sign up for it. The book isn't out there. She's still working on it right now, but the sign up to get updates on the project and what she's doing and what kind of the artwork is starting to look like. It's always awesome to see what Nerium is doing as well. Thank you, Frog G. Lots of booty. Yeah, Marvel smoked too much. He smoked too many cigarettes. That's possible. Hardcover edition. And MJ1 Media, Jeffrey, Joe Quesada began Marvel's downfall when he literally made Spider-Man Live in a bubble of being a teenager, sacrificing marriage to a hot babe for an aunt who is a one-wind breeze away from her heart attack. Yeah, Joe Quesada did a lot of bad calls the minute he stepped into Marvel, and he's definitely woke. Matter of fact, he is the one that tried to retroactively destroy Steve Rogers by saying that he wasn't even the first Captain America. There was a black guy who was a Captain America before him who was created during Pearl Harbor. And I don't remember what they said, if he died or if he disappeared or what happened to him. But yeah, that was all under Joe Quesada. The guy is a piece of trash. And as part of the reason why I don't care what Marvel comic is sitting out there on the shelf, I will not buy it. And DC is getting the same way. And they're going downhill, and there's been talks about Warner Brothers really thinking about either selling off the brand or just completely axing it altogether. I actually have 3 good stories that will explain away the woke Marvel crap and restore good storytelling. Want to hear them? Go ahead, Jeffrey. Lay it out, buddy.
Love to hear them.
I'm getting Blade Devil that RGA made and got some cyber or something comics. Don't care about that. Marvel's a heart attack now? Holy shit. Sub to Resolute Germ for the fun Saturday cartoon streams he has. Awesome. Thank you, Gap. I appreciate that. Everybody has been dropping the links today. Frog G, Gap, everybody, all you guys. I do appreciate it so much when you're doing that for me, because it's a pain in the ass when I have to open up the regular YouTube and try to do it, because it actually slows down my internet. StreamYards is a very, very heavy draw when you're running it. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, DC means die company. Thank you, Gap. Appreciate that. So, any last thoughts on everything that we've been talking about? Or is there something else that you want to bring up?
Well, it's a saving for next week, but all right. Yeah, just like think, like about them DC toys, like the superhero friends, whatever it was. Like, yeah. I wish I did like collected them because I got Marvel ones with Wolverine and that shit, and Spider-Man, but yeah, I didn't get the Superman ones and that, which is a shame.
They were really good looking figures too.
Yeah. I remember seeing them and that, but I think I was a bit too old, and I should have really got them as a collector's piece because there will be like a good collector's item, but yeah.
Soul Assassin. Last thoughts, don't get in an argument with Tommy. He'll outwit you to the end. I am very stubborn like that. A few people have tried those arguments with me, and some of them have wound up on my channel. Hint, hint, Walton, Fiendstorian. Just saying. YouTube's new name is Toilet Tube.
Don't insult toilets that way.
I know, right? That's a damn shame. There's some good toilets out there. MJ1 Media. Okay, story 1, Spider-Man. One more time, Spidey is once again close to losing Aunt May. He's about to make a deal with Mephisto again, but Ghost Rider stops him, explaining what happened before. Waiting to see the rest. Waiting to see the rest. Where's the rest?
Come on.
Better hurry up, MJ1, because Indiegogo is going to pull this if you don't.
That was story 1. You still got story 2, 3, 4, and 5 to go.
He didn't say that many stories. He said 3.
Come on. Hey, why don't we just hop on here? I know Mega Jenny said to do
well, you got 2 or 3 to go then. No, I think he's saying like, yeah, that's sort of like, oh no, yeah. Oh, he's carried on. I thought he was going to end it there, like, yeah.
All right, there's a fight between Spidey and Ghost Rider against Mephisto, and the contract is either destroyed or altered. Peter's marriage and secret identity are restored, but Aunt May passes. Peter's glad he got more time.
Oh,
I do remember them, Solar Warden. The castle Lego. Yeah.
With the knights and horses.
Yes. Play School also wound up doing something very similar, of course, but they weren't Lego, but
right.
Yeah. Absolutely, Castaway. I agree completely. Captain Rogers is the real Captain America. Who cares what they say? Yeah, you can't sit there and retroactively destroy things and just claim that this is the way it is now because these people and their self-inserting garbage. That's what 90% of it is. Their agenda and their self-inserting inserting crap. And it's tiresome, to say the least. SJWs are invalid. They absolutely are. The original story goes Spider-Man makes a deal to save Aunt May, but he has to forget Mary Jane. New twist. I really want him to bring that back. Story 2, Miss Marvel restored. Kamala, now disillusioned by her hero, Captain Marvel, stumbles upon a captured Carol Danvers still in her Miss Marvel uniform, having been cloned and replaced. All right, Gap, you be well. I know as soon as Mega Jetty goes through his story, we're getting ready to wrap because I know there's some other people that are going to be coming up. They're going to be doing their streams as well. I'm pretty sure that Scotty over at Sporking has started his stream already, probably 40 minutes in or something like that. I know ETEP is going to be coming up soon, and let's not forget about Shellback. Shellback is right there. That's the way it is now, Tommy. Deal with it. Never. I don't have to deal with it. See, that's the difference between me and everybody else. I'm just going to stand right up. I'm gonna wink at the moon. Hold on, I got to do this properly. I am going to wink at the moon, and I'm going to tell them absolutely no. I will not bend the knee to you because guess what, guinea pigs don't have knees, and we're not going to kneel to you. Nope, not going to happen. Stan Lee made Captain America, right? Not John Jackass who thinks Black and Captain was first. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. But of course, they're going to claim that that's what it is now because we said so. Yeah, I know you couldn't help but Shellback, man. I'm just busting your chops. And Kamala and Miss Carol team up to go against Captain Carol. Captain Carol's defeated, but Miss Carol has to deal with fallout of her clone's terrible acts in her name, but she remains Miss Marvel. I got a better idea. How about Miss Marvel? How about Miss Marvel's just still dead because Rogue sucked the life and powers right out of her? Bam! Look at that! Boom! Done. No more Carol Danvers.
Yeah.
Forcing Kamala to come up with her own name and not steal another's identity, right? Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, we never been in a never, absolutely never. See, that's the problem with a lot of people make is they sit there and they pander to these people just a little bit. Once you start giving into their ideology, they are never going to stop because a foot is not enough and an inch is too far with these people. Never give in to them even a little bit. Hey, Fish Chozo, what's going on? The 2006 Carol Danvers run was actually good. I don't know. If it was so good, why'd they have to reboot it about 7 or 8 times?
Good for women.
That's all I'm going to say about it. I want to see the Rogue zap so bad. Yeah, I hear you, Shellback, because that's what it should have been. You were going to do that stupid freaking Carol Danvers line. Number one, it's not Captain Marvel. And the original Captain Marvel is not a woman.
Right.
And the power scaling is all off. But, I mean, you know, this is the way they got to do it, because they got to have all the power, and we got to put people in their place. I mean, it's so stupid. These characters were already good to begin with. You didn't have to sit there and beef them up and make them look like they're tougher than everybody else because they were already tough to begin with. I mean, why do they not redo characters in these movies like Storm? Storm is already a very strong female character. You don't even have to do anything. You don't have to amp up her powers. You don't have to do that. She's already incredibly powerful to begin with. But they won't touch it because they can't really do anything to make her more over the top. So they want to take something else and they want to retroactively destroy something that had some kind of male connotation to it and then say, oh, look, we're better because we say so. Get out of my face. Absolutely. Finally, here we go. Finally, Story 3, Infinite Apocalypse. The Avenger and X-Men team up when they learn the horrible things taking place during woke Marvel area as a result of Apocalypse having ceased the reality check. I love Rogue in the animated series. Yeah, she was supposed to be exactly like she was. She was a Southern Belle. The character was destroyed by Kelly Sue DeConnick in 2012, in which she turned into what she is now. Okay. Yeah, see, like right around the 2000 is when I started checking out from most of the Marvel stuff. It seemed to lose something for me, and I just wasn't interested anymore. Apocalypse tried warping reality to his twisted image, but it's only to a certain degree, like Wanda's reality. He needs the whole Infinity Gauntlet to solidify his twisted image of the universe. Nice, Jeffrey. Goofanoid in my book, by the way. Carol Danvers had sex with a god, and after she gave birth and her son grew up, she hooked up with him sexually several times, even left the Avengers to go away with him. Great role model. Yeah, right. It's all trash, but they want to keep pushing it. But we're coming into the end. I want to thank everybody who has stopped. You guys have been amazing. As always, you guys are the best chat on YouTube. And this show just wouldn't be any fun without you. I appreciate you every time that you come here. And you not only show love for everybody else in the chat, but you come in here and you show the love for me as well. And, of course, my wonderful panelists. Thank you, Captain Trek, for stopping in. And, Jens, it's always great to have you here as well, my friend. Jeffrey's got one more thing. I love both 90s Cartoon Rogue and X-Men Evolution Goth Rogue. And my vision of a perfect X-Men reality, she starts as a teenager goth like an Evo, but grows into the 90s Southern Belle. Awesome. And word Captain Marvel's be Buffy. What's up, Bone? We're just getting ready to wrap up. The God raped Carol. Yeah, it's just trash. Buffy once beat up a god. Got home late. Nah, it's all good, my friend. If you have a chance, catch it on the replay. I think we had a little bit of fun on this one, as always. Thank you, Lasso of Truth. And we're going to get ready, and we're going to go around the panel with...
You know me, but I don't remember smelling you before. Who are you, and where do you come from?
Well, hopefully I've got to release the video, but I need to do it. Hopefully it'll be done by tomorrow. And our toys are getting soy, according to Todd Farland, which I agree with him. And then tomorrow, in the UK, it might be later on today or tomorrow, I'll be doing a live stream. And then on Wednesday, 12 o'clock GMT, it's Bond film, VRIs only, review and spoilers. And I've got a Twitter at 27A Pedersen.
Awesome. Right there. His channel, in case you ain't already subscribed. Thank you, Bone. I appreciate that. And everybody else that has been modding tonight, you all are amazing. You all are awesome. Billy Batson is true Captain Marvel. Wrong. Technically right and technically wrong. There was actually somebody called, oh God, what was it? Marvel Boy before Captain Marvel. And I found that one out when I was looking through an old book that's got all these old Marvel characters in there. And it came out way before Captain Marvel ever came out in DC. I thought that was kind of interesting. But we're going to go over to Captain Trek. Captain Trek, let the good people know what you got going on and where they can find you.
Well, not much going on right now, but going to be working on some stuff coming up. So, yeah, just keep checking.
All right, guys, if you haven't, stop by and subscribe to Captain Trek and pay attention to what is going to be coming on in the future. And, of course, don't forget that Shellback is going to be coming up shortly. Stay tuned. Check his channel. Make sure that you subscribe for the Yelling at Park Cars warm-up, where he's going to get into some of that ugly stuff that happened at the Oscars. What do you call that garbage? I don't even remember because I don't watch it. But anyway, there's going to be a brief discussion on that, and he's going to get into the topic of the Florida Don't Say Gay bill, which that's not even what it's called. These people are just so ridiculous. They don't even read to see what this stuff is about, and they just run off with their own narrative on Twitter and then get all the Looney Tunes that just want to agree with them in a corner saying, yeah, that's right. Look how stupid we are. We can't read. I know. It's all over the place. But you guys are amazing. And just remember, Never let anybody tell you what you can and can't say, what you should or should not watch, because your silence gives consent. And we will catch you all next time, my friends. Later, y'all.
Bye.